Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? Of course, my name is Kent, and the channel is EOS San Diego. But tonight I want to talk a little bit about price, because price looks like it's going down. Actually, EOS is broken beneath the $5 barrier, and we're at $4.87. And actually, Bitcoin is down just a little bit too. But I think this is temporary. In fact, if anything, I think this is probably the calm ahead of the storm. And I'm looking for Bitcoin probably to go through 6,000 here very soon. And I don't know how high EOS is going to go, but I believe that these prices are going to go much higher. And the reason I believe that is because it looks as though there are some rumors that Bitcoin is able to, somebody put a paper trade through on Bitcoin on the Nasdaq through Ameritrade, TD Ameritrade. So I'll just read right here. A quantitative analyst claims that he was able to buy 1 Bitcoin of Nasdaq listed future on TD Ameritrade, a brokerage with $5.5 billion in yearly revenue. There's been no claim by any other trader that such futures are being offered, but Ameritrade says they do offer Bitcoin futures trading to qualified investors with minimum account requirements standing at $225,000. We're seeking confirmation, but without much success at this time, of publishing, making it excuse me, unclear whether I'm gonna have to start this video over again. No, but I'll just keep it going. Making it unclear whether Ameritrade is now offering Nasdaq Bitcoin futures or just CMEs. So it looks as though somebody was able to place a trade on TD Ameritrade, paper trade with using Bitcoin. So buying, selling Bitcoin on the Nasdaq, and we don't even have the ETFs. Right now, this is something that's, and of course, if this goes through, if this starts to happen, of course, they've been talking about it forever. I think TD Ameritrade made this announcement over a year ago that they were going to start being able to set up for trading Bitcoin, Bitcoin assets. And of course, Jay Clinton from the Security and Exchange Commission says that Bitcoin is an asset, is no longer. I'll read it in quick as soon as I have a drink of water here. Okay, right here. Where did I see that at? Right here. Is Nasdaq about to introduce Bitcoin? Right down here, something about. Where does it say? Jay Clayton talks a little bit about this stuff. No, where's he at? Right here. Jay Clayton, the United States Chairman, SEC Chairman, the United States Security Exchange Chairman, has previously confirmed that Bitcoin is not a security, and the agency is working on a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency asset claim. The chairman explained, Bitcoin is like currency. So it's not a security, but it's like a currency. Bitcoin is not a security, but it's like a currency. I mean, it doesn't have a sovereign backing. It doesn't have sovereign backing, so it's different from sovereign currency. It's designed as a medium of exchange. So Clayton is saying that this is a medium of exchange, much like a currency and not a security. So a security would be something that would have to have all the security exchange rules and commission rules and regulations that would govern it. In this case, he's not saying that needs to be so. And then it says something here about the ETFs. Although evidence suggests that Nasdaq is working on something, it's too early to assume that Nasdaq will be offering Bitcoin trades to general public anytime soon. Efforts are still underway to bring the first ETFs to the United States market. So right now we're talking about even before ETFs are traded, and of course ETFs would be huge for the cryptocurrency market because it gives it legitimacy. Now all of a sudden, and let me give you some. Right now, what's going on is that we are way ahead of the law and way ahead of the security exchange governing agencies with cryptocurrencies and with everything. It's ahead of everything. It's ahead of governance. You can see how EOS is struggling with governance right now. How EOS really doesn't have a form of governance. They can't really have any kind of form of arbitration. They can't even decide what basic rules of of what they should do as far as governance is concerned. That's why the block producers have come up with their own agreement, because they're out ahead of it right now. They're so far ahead of where traditional systems and society has been at, and and it's not going to catch up anytime soon. And they're out ahead of the Security Exchange Commission. They're out ahead of the stock exchanges. They're out ahead of everything. And this stuff is just happening before our eyes. And now they're starting to trade it on the Nasdaq, and it's happening. And what I see happening is it's going to go out and get in front of everything, and then eventually some form of rules and regulations will start to catch up. Kind of like with, if I can use an analogy, it would be like with Uber. You know, when Uber originally came out, a lot of cities would not allow Uber because they said it was a taxi cab company or a taxi cab system, or it had to go through the rules and regulations that you had to go through to become a taxi cab service in that city. Well, what happened is everybody just started using it. It was on their phones. They needed it. They used it. And the next thing you knew, before they could even, bring out any kind of, do anything in the courts about it, it already had mass adoption, and everybody was using it. So everybody said, well, I guess it's not. Now it's just a software company, and and that's the same thing that happened with Ethereum as far as being a security. And originally Security Exchange Commission said, hey, ICOs are Ethereum's ICO. It needs to be regulated. It can't just be traded. It has to be regulated. And that means giving the money back. That means penalties. That means rules. That means all kinds of breaches of all kinds of things, qualified investors and all the other stuff. Well, what happened was it just kind of took off. It got so big that the Security Exchange Commission came back and said, well, we'll just go ahead and say it's decentralized and it's not a security. Well, that's what's happening here. Bitcoin is just starting to take off. People are starting to trade it, and nobody really can kind of know what kind of rules and regulations it should be governed in or be under. And even that there is any. I mean, this is the one thing that's crazy about the crypto business, crypto markets right now, is there is no rules and regulations. It's completely unregulated. Just like I was saying with EOS, it's completely unregulated. They can't even find any kind of way of putting any kind of constraint on it. I mean, as with EOS, the blocks are produced so quickly. They're stamped by the block producers. There's random block producers creating blocks all over the place, 21, doing it very quickly. I mean, how do you even go back and try to unwind one of these contracts if somebody wants to file lawsuits, or somebody wants to file some sort of breach of contract, or some sort of anything, even though that there is consideration, because consideration being payment by block producer awards? How do you go back and unwind these when it's going so fast? And these servers are all around the world by different entities. And who do you hold responsible, and how do you hold them responsible? It's almost impossible. So you just kind of let it go, because it's just the rule of law is just behind. And that's the way it is here. The Security Exchange Commission is just behind. The banking system's just behind. Everything's behind, and now it's just starting to take up. So I believe it's a little bit of a rant what I just did. Not only a little bit of a rant in the middle of it, I couldn't get my breath, had to take a drink of water. But anyway, what I see happening is movement in this space that nobody can contain. It's just taking off, and nobody can put anything around. And it is just going to take off, because excitement, enthusiasm, and exuberance will take over the more what would you say, the side of the, let's get all our ducks in a row before this happens. And that does not happen. Everybody's going to get too excited, and nobody's going to go back and say, we should have done this, we should have done it. This is an ongoing project that is making its way as it goes, and the rules and the regulations and all this stuff is being formed as it moves forward. In fact, will be formed after it moves forward. It's just going to take off, and then it's going to be formed. I thought it was kind of interesting. I was reading one of Dan Lammer's tweets, or maybe it was on Telegram, and he was saying that what's going through with governance is a lot what happened with the United States. Well, with the United States of America Constitution, there was the founding fathers that got down, and they kind of hammered out what they wanted in the Bill of Rights, and also what they wanted in the Constitution, and that was the Federalist Papers. They came down, they kind of figured this all out, and they had these arguments, and they had these discussions and everything like that. But that wasn't in a fast-moving time like we are today. I mean, they were able to sit down and draft the Constitution over a long period of time and over a lot of discussions and a lot of debate. But this is just happening, and that's what I'm saying. What's going on right now? This is just happening, and it's going quicker than anybody ever thought it would go quicker. And the other thing I was going to say here too is it says breaking BTC or breaking BTC is now being traded on the Nasdaq. I bought one BTC through my TD Ameritrade account. Another quick fact: TD Ameritrade was founded in Nebraska. That's where I'm from. The guy that founded TD Ameritrade, I think his name is Joe Ricketts. He was born in Nebraska. His son is governor of Nebraska, Pete Ricketts. So and it was one of the first online brokerages. I'm very familiar with TD Ameritrade because it's from the place I grew up, and so I kind of know a little bit about it. But anyway, that kind of interesting side note. But TD Ameritrade, according to the chart, it started April 10th, 2000. Well, this is what I want to read. Other digital assets soon to follow. Other digital assets are soon to follow. So perhaps EOS, perhaps Ethereum, perhaps XRP. Could be a lot of them that could be starting to take off on this kind of thing. Stuff's getting traded, and it's happening now, and it's happening before our eyes, and it's happening before anybody can put their minds around it and kind of figure out. So it's happening. It's going to happen, kind of like Uber did. It's going to get mass adoption, and then people are going to go back and try to figure out how to make sense of it. So anyway, exciting stuff. And like I say, I don't see these markets staying here very long in this range. I see Bitcoin going through 6,000. I see EOS going through $6, and I see these crypto markets going much higher. Temporary pullback, kind of the calm before the storm, in my opinion. So anyway, I appreciate you listening. Thank you very much.